John Baptiste was born in the filthiest places in Paris, where the stench of rotten meat and rotten fish were all around him. This is what separates his future life story from his birth. From the moment of his birth, his mother sentenced him to death, but he chose differently. He cried out loud, and people heard it. His first act of crying out loud sentenced his own mother to death. He was like a lotus, a flower born in the mud. Lotus in the sense that his future talents will be as akin to a flower. John Baptiste was later sent to orphanage as with all other orphan children, where other orphans tried to kill him because they sensed something weird from him and there weren't any more places to keep. He was later when he grew up he experienced more olfactory experiences than there were words to describe in his vocabulary. He was later sold to tannery by the owner of orphanage, and shortly after selling him to the tannery, the madame who owned the orphanage was killed. Right now in tannery, he wanted to experience growing up all different kind of smells there were, as he was a very curious boy at this age. At this age, he did not differentiate between good smells and bad smells. The movie Perfume is a story of an artist, not a murderer. As we will see, during working in Tenerife, he suddenly found a perfume shop where he got obsessed with smells and he started to differentiate between good kind of smells and bad kind of smells. He got obsessed with good kind of smells, and this obsession of him with these good kind of smells, and he wanted to preserve these good kind of smells in his mind, as these smells would suddenly fade away. And this obsession of him to create the perfect perfume and to find a way to preserve the smell finally leads to his own downfall by his own hands. While roaming around the city, he finds a fruit selling girl and he is obsessed with her smell. It is the sweetest smell he has ever smelled. It was the most sublime of his olfactory experiences. So he decides to follow the girl. The girl is first at confused. What does this guy want? So she offers him a fruit. But instead of taking the fruit, he starts to smell her friend. Obviously creeped out, the girl runs away. John Baptiste, due to his sharp nose, is finally able to find the girl. The girl is sitting and cutting up the fruit. Unknown to girl, the John Baptiste starts to smell her from behind. When she suddenly realizes that John Baptiste is behind her, she is about to scream. In order to stop her from screaming, John Baptiste puts his hands over her mouth, and he stops her from screaming, which suffocates the poor girl, and she dies. At this point, John Baptiste does not panic. He does what he wants to do. He wants her scent. He starts to smell the girl. As he's smelling the girl, her scent slowly vanishes. He panics. What to do? What to do? How to preserve her scent? He decides it's not enough. The scent is not enough. He wants to preserve the smell. He wants the sublime beauty of her smell not to go away. He tries his best, but her smell finally vanishes after her death. So, from this point on, his obsession is to preserve beautiful scents like her and beautiful scents like her and preserve them. But as we saw in the movie, he was never able to capture the similar kind of scent as this fruit seller girl. As we come to see, there is a new perfume in the town, and every perfumer was talking about it, and there was a huge competition between these perfumers. One such perfumer is the guy who will take John Baptiste as his apprentice. This perfumer will spend hours studying what scent to make this perfume of, what this perfume is made up of. But John Baptiste will, with his natural talents from his nose, will just figure it out in a second. This this presents us in movie another dimension, talent versus experience. The perfumer asked John Baptiste, "Okay, you can make this perfume, but do you know how much quantity it is to mix? In what proportion are these different chemicals mixed? You don't know anything. You can just tell me. You just have a good nose. You can just tell me which ingredients are there in this perfume, but you don't know how to make it." But John Baptiste proves him wrong. He outperforms the perfumer and his experience. In short while he makes the perfume, and he says this is said that this perfume is not that good. He could make a better perfume. He tells his he tells his goals to his master. He wants to preserve scent.
Baptiste. Jean-Baptiste. What's the matter?
I have to learn how to capture scent.
What are you talking about?
I have to learn how to capture scent and reprise it forever.
You mean preserve?
You have to teach me that.
All right, calm down, my boy. Calm down. We have work to do.
The soul of beings is their scent. You said that, Master.
Did I?
I will make you as many perfumes as you want, but you have to teach me how to capture the smell of all things. Can you do that?
Well, naturally.
Then teach me everything you know.
After this, the perfumer Baldoni buys John Baptiste from the tannerite, the guy who owns the tanner shop. The Baldoni finally teaches John Baptiste secret to perfume. When he starts teaching John Baptiste about how to make perfume, he tells him that there are 12 codes of perfume, and he tells him a legend of here. You can see it better in the movie.
Once found in a pharaoh's tomb, and when it was opened, a perfume was released. After all those thousands of years, a perfume of such subtle beauty and yet such power that for one single moment, every person on earth believed they were in paradise. 12 essences could be identified, but the 13th, the vital one, could never be determined.
Baldoni tells him various ways to capture scent of where by distillation. He After which John Baptiste tries to experiment. He tries to capture the scent of copper, iron, cat, etc., which is quite funny. After which he throws a tantrum. Baldoni suddenly wakes up from his sleep and sees what John Baptiste is doing, and he is shocked that John Baptiste is trying to capture the scent of iron, copper, and a cat. After which he said he cannot capture the scent of a cat as he cannot capture a scent of a human being.
What kind of a human being are you? Don't you know anything? You can no more distill the scent of a cat than you can distill the scent of you or me.
You can't.
Of course not.
He is in stadio ultimo.
What?
He's dying.
Is there nothing you can do?
After which, John Baptiste is shocked, as his entire goal in life, entire purpose, was to capture the beautiful sublime scent of the girl who was selling the fruit. So he suddenly, from the shock of this pronouncement from his master, he faints and he is almost about to die. Then later his master tells him there may be a way to capture scent of human beings, but he has to go to a city called Grass, which is holy place for all the perfumers. And but before going to Grass, he will need papers, and Baldoni is willing to give him such papers. But in exchange, he wants 100 perfume recipes from John Baptiste. John Baptiste would have given him 1000 recipes for perfume, but he was happy. After which, as soon as John Baptiste leaves him, Baldoni dies as his own house collapses upon him. This is a theme which will continue further, as whenever John Baptiste leaves somebody, they die. While on his way to Grass, John Baptiste finds a cave where for first time in his life he felt calm and quiet and serene beauty. In this cave there was no distraction, there were no smells, there was only smell of rock, cave, and John Baptiste. John Baptiste felt such a joy, such serene calmness that he stayed in the cave for weeks. And after some time, after when he finally came to his senses and he remembered his goal that he wants to go to grass so that he can capture the scent of a human being, he noticed something. He noticed that he himself does not have any scent, which terrified him. Thought in his head, okay, so what if he does not have any scent of his own? He will make his own identity by capturing scent of human being and making it his mission to make an ultimate perfume which will live on, which will be his own new identity from now on. On his way to Grass, fortune smiled upon him as he saw a beautiful red-headed girl, which reminded him of the girl which of the fruit seller girl from where his obsession started. And and by following her scent, he found out where she lived, and this new red-headed girl Laura will be his new obsession from now on. While in Grass, he works for a perfume refinery. At same time, he uses the equipment of this refinery for his personal goals. He finds a human girl who had a quarrel with her lover, and he murders this girl and tries to distill her scent. But this distillation of her scent was a failed experiment. After this failed experiment, John Baptiste tries to find a new way to capture human scent. He goes and hires a prostitute for such reasons. He hires a prostitute and puts animal fat on her body. He says that this animal fat wrapped with the bandages will capture her scent. The prostitute is creeped out and she is about to leave. When she is about to leave, John Baptiste strikes her in the back of the head with a cylinder type object. He kills the prostitute so he could work better this time. He's, he lathers her up with animal fat and and scrapes the animal fat and uses this animal fat to make the perfume out of her. And he succeeds. He is trying again to get this red-headed girl Laura. While at a party where her father is trying to arrange a marriage for her with a noble gentleman. There they start playing hide and seek in a maze. There John Baptiste tries to grab Laura but he is unable to. Instead of Laura he grabs twins and he again lathers them up with animal fat and scrapes the fat off their bodies and makes perfume out of them. What is ironic here is the thing with John Baptiste is trying to preserve their scent. In trying to do that, he kills the very people he is trying to preserve. While he was at his refinery, the perfumer tries to check up on him, and he's quite rough with him. As he's about to grab John Baptiste by his hand, a drop of perfume is spilled on his hand, and from his drop he can sense the effect of perfume on other person. As soon as they smell this perfume, they are all suddenly nicer to him, as if they are in contact with some divine deity. And at this point in time, John Baptiste has already achieved transcendence with his perfume, according to me. But his ultimate goal to preserve scent so that the scent doesn't fade away, he has not reached it yet. He goes on a killing spree. The city announces curfew after the body of twins is found. City announces a curfew so that nobody will come in or outside the city. John Baptiste goes on a killing spree to fill in 12 ingredients, but for the 13th ingredient he needs the red-headed girl Laura. The city panics. Innocent people kill each other. People catch false suspects of each other. The city finally catches a false suspect, which was under, but the suspect confessed to all the murders under extreme duress and torture. Thus, curfew is lifted. But Laura's father is not convinced that the real killer has been found, so he plans in secrecy, to transport Laura to a monastery far away from the city. John Baptiste is able to follow Laura all the way to monastery, even though her father has taken such extreme measures to keep her identity hidden due to his extremely sharp and keen nose. John Baptiste finds Laura, and at night, when he was about to kill her, strike her head with a heavy object. As soon as Laura turns towards him, due to her beauty, he is finally stopped. But he kills Laura nonetheless, and his 13th ingredient is complete. As he is making his final ingredient, 13th ingredient, and mixing his final perfection of the perfume, guards catch up to him, but the perfume is completed. He is tortured, and Laura's father asks him again and again, why did he kill his daughter? Why did he kill his daughter? He answers the same thing, because he needed her, because John Baptiste needed her. For what reason, he won't say. For what reason, Laura's father will not ask him. On the day of his execution, John Baptiste opens the perfume in jail, and suddenly the effect of perfume is visible on guards and the minister who's about to fetch him to the gallows. The minister gives him his clothes, a beautiful blue colored dress. John Baptiste arrives at the execution site in a carriage, and as soon as he arrives, all the crowd could feel the effect of the perfume. As John Baptist when on the cross, when he's on the cross, he opens the perfume bottle and opens the perfume bottle and lets a whiff of perfume into the crowd. The crowd sees this. The crowd sees this and feels the effect of it. They call him an angel. An entire crowd, including ministers, peasants, everybody feels the effect of perfume. They feel as though they are on heaven, as they are on paradise, as if they are on heaven on earth. The crowd engages in orgies and etc. All the while praising John Baptist. While John Baptist could feel the effect of perfume, as soon as he feels the effect of perfume, he feels sudden sadness as he remembers the first time he smelled that scent of the fruit seller girl. He starts crying as thinks what could have been. Instead of killing that girl, he could have proposed to her, he could have married her, wed her, he could have preserved her scent in another way instead of going through these roundabout murderous ways. But nonetheless, John Baptiste, the artist, is complete. He has transcended olfactory sciences and all the perfumers. He has created the perfect perfume. After this debacle, John Baptiste still had enough perfume in his bottle to enslave the entire world, to make entire world fall in love with him. But due to his sudden sadness over the fruit seller girl, for some reason, as though he is in love with her, in his own twisted way, twisted or different way. I would like to call it different way, as this movie is being in this movie, John Baptiste is being portrayed portrayed as a demon or something, but instead I see him as an artist, a misunderstood artist who made a mistake, and a boy who was raised poorly and he does not know how to communicate or behave. Maybe he could have had better life. He could have just talked to the fruit seller girl and lived with her happily ever after. And he would have preserved the scent he so is desperate to preserve. He would have preserved that scent anyway. John Baptiste, nonetheless, he does not want the entire world to fall in love with him. He does not want to enslave the entire world. He does not want to send letter to Pope with with the drop of perfume bottle telling the Pope that he's the new Messiah. He does not want to rule over France. He simply goes to Paris, where he was born. He bathes himself in the perfume and goes in front of the crowd in beggar crowd in Paris. They eat him alive. And here finishes John Baptiste's story. John Baptiste and this movie about Perfume. It's not about Perfume, a story of a murderer. It's more about Perfume, a story of an artist, where his obsession leads to him, where his obsession to make a perfect perfume, to preserve scent, would drive him so to such lengths that he would murder innocent women and would have only one track mind to preserve that scent which he once felt, and he would chase after that scent forever, the scent of that fruit vendor girl. In my mind, it's a tragic story. It's not it's not a murder story or something, or a story about a murderer. It's more artistic. It's more about an artist. It's more about obsession. It's just a beautiful story. And we all have felt this emotions whenever we go to Vatican, or whenever we see a painting, or whenever we see a beautiful girl. We have this feeling to capture that moment with our eyes, with our senses, so that it never fails, it never fades away. That's why we have invented such devices as cameras or video recorders, etc., so that we can play these moments again and again, so these moments won't fade away. It's just human nature. And due to John Baptiste's exceptional sense of smell, he wanted to preserve only thing which he identified the world and explored the world with. That was his olfactory senses, his nose. This is a beautiful story. Everybody should watch it, and watch it twice. Once as the narrator, and narrator expects you to watch second time as making your own headcanon, or making your own observations throughout the story about the characters and etc., because this story had so much more potential. Even by watching the movie you can just see it. Nonetheless, that is my second experimental video. I hope you liked it. It's a bit less scripted. Whenever I use scripts less, I am better in speaking English. Whenever I use scripts, it comes off as not natural to me. So thank you. Have a nice day. Be sure to like, subscribe. I will try to keep up. I will see if I want to keep up uploading videos or not. But till now, I'm having fun. It's just fun.